Man, did things get wild this week or what? I mean, I was waiting on this. I was waiting on this carousel of carnage to come from 91 days because it was only gonna end ugly. And boy, was that an understatement this week, as this is it. Next week is the finale, and I'm definitely gonna be sad as I have thoroughly enjoyed this series from beginning to end as it all comes to an end in messy fashion as only a Mafia series can do. But first, let's clap it up for Del Toro. This guy was a beast. Del Toro, wish we would have got more time with him. This guy got straight up stabbed up 3 times. And he still managed to snap the neck of one dude and kill the other dude with the knife that was put in him by that same person. That was just beastly. Oh my God. He definitely was the MVP and went out like a straight boss in this episode. And by the way, what's up everyone? It's your boy Infrar-Ed. Welcome to the Scout Reports. Today I'm bringing you an anime review of 91 Days, episode 11. One more episode to go, and man, this was crazy. One of the biggest things that was pointed out in this episode is that Avilio is actually starting to break down, which is good. I wanted to see that. I mean, this guy just killed his best friend. So for him to continue to show that he had no signs of wear and tear, no feelings or anything at all, I would have been a little bit disappointed if he would have kept going down the route that he was going. So it was good to see him crack a little bit, as the things that he was going to was really visible in this episode. I mean, he is straight up seeing visions of Corteo. He's seeing them talking to him. He's pouring out glasses of liquor for him and having conversations with the vision of his dead friend, and he's probably down in this liquor himself. I mean, he went down a downward spiral, and it is showing as well as time is running out for him to achieve his plan, because again, he's starting to crack. Things are starting to show that something's wrong with him, and we all know it's not going to be a good end for him. It can't be. I'm probably gonna call bullshit if he gets the happy ending once this is all over. Also, stay classy, Crunchyroll, as they put out an article saying that 91 Days wasn't even supposed to come on this week. We were supposed to get postponed and then get a 1-hour finale next week. And I'm hitting people up saying, yeah, you know it's not coming on this week, only for them the next day on Anime News Network for the article to come out to say, you know what, it is coming out. And then you check Crunchyroll and it say due to come out in whatever time, like 2-3 hours. So that kind of sucked. But anyway, back to the episode itself. So the state with the Glacia family over in Chicago is water under the bridge, as Don Glacia actually appears in this episode to say that after the deal went through with Lawless Heaven with the liquor, they want to just patch things up and make things the way that it was with the Venettis and try to smooth things over. We're also introduced to Strega, who is the Don Glacia's nephew. He introduces him to Nero, say, I hope you two young wolves are the next generation. I hope us as a family can make everything right again. So this is where we get Gonzo's plan while he's sitting in a bar talking to Avilio about what they're gonna do next. Basically, the plan is to ambush Vincent Venetti in a play. So what they were gonna do is they're gonna have 2 goons take out Del Toro because they knew he was gonna be the biggest factor, and then they were gonna pretty much assassinate the Don from there. Now, while this is going on, I like that Angelo was smart. He took out the letter and said, you know what, write your name on this letter as well. Because remember, Gonzo was the 4th person. He was there all along. And overall, we know Angelo wants revenge on everyone who was involved with the death of his family. So he said, write your name on this letter. You are my enemy. I also saw that as a means of him saying, you know what, if this fucks up, I'm coming for you next. You're dead if I make it through. So I like him asserting his power, using that letter to the advantage of what he had to do in this episode. But the most surprising part is that Gonzo said that his father and his family was killed because he knew that it was going to be a fusion between the Glacia family and the Venetti family. So that's why Tenzo was killed, which is kind of weird, because we get a spot later in the episode that I'm going to get to that kind of contradicts that a little bit. But we come to find out that after Angelo leaves, we see that Gonzo is actually working with Strega, Don Venetti's nephew, to try to kill both of them so they can both be the heads of their families and then make a fusion, which is pretty big because in one of the scenes after that, we finally see Nero and Don Venetti have a heart-to-heart, and Don Venetti basically says to him that he regretted killing Tensa, who was his best friend. He regretted killing his best friend and his family. It's a regret that he's had on his mind for the past 7 years. And the reason why he killed him was because he was trying to stop the Glacia family from swallowing the Venetti family whole. Only to find out this is what Gonzo's trying to do anyway. So it was all for nothing, just like the title said, because this is still being planned under the curtains without him knowing. But it's good to see him have regret, and even said that I wish things could have went a little bit differently where I wouldn't have had to kill my friend, because of course if things went differently we wouldn't be on the path that we're on now with this series. Also, another interesting part of the episode was to see the Don Glacia actually approach Angelo and say, you know what, why don't you come with me? You seem like a good kid. I think this town is too small for you. However, he does deny it because he needs to be in Lawless in order to get out of his revenge plan. And speaking of revenge plan, it is about to be set in motion, and this is where the wheel of carnage begins, as this was straight up like some End of Departed shit, the things that went down. It really was like a flow chart of everybody that got taken out in this segment, as there's no more loose ends left. Coming into this finale, we only have one more thing to do. So let's go ahead and get started. So we get to the playhouse with both the Dons set up in place. We send the two goons to try to kill Del Toro guarding the door, and that didn't go too well. Only for Angelo to swoop in and get the final blow on Del Toro, because again, he was already taken down even though he took out two people like a beast. And I was a little bit salty because I didn't want Angelo to kill Del Toro. I wanted him to have more of a challenge, but realistically, after seeing what he did to those two dudes, he wasn't going to be able to get through that at all. So now that he's dead, or Del Toro's dead, he was killed by Angelo. Angelo is actually spotted by Barbaro. So Barbaro basically gets his thing by saying, haha, I finally caught you. He takes Angelo in, starts torturing him, only for Gonzo to come in. Gonzo blasts Barbaro. That kills Barbaro, taking up another loose end and keeping the plan intact. Once that plan is intact, now we have Gonzo and Strega in the room. They distract Nero and get Nero to go one other way entirely, while Angelo heads toward the Don to go ahead and finish the assassination. Angelo gets to Don Venetti, tells him who he is, but instead he ends up killing Don Glacia. And since this was right across in the view of Strega, Strega saw this as a setup. He kills Gonzo, so now Gonzo's out of there. Once Gonzo's out of there, Strega basically puts out the hit order to kill all Venettis at this point, and then let the Tommy guns sing along with the violin music that we all expect and love from a mafia movie, as the bullets are spraying, people are falling, people are running, and Angelo makes his escape. However, it's not without tragedy, as we see Nero get to his father, who was spared because he was dying anyway, to see his last breath in his son's arms, telling him it's over. It was all for nothing. That was the last thing he said to Nero. Just like I pointed out, it was all for nothing, because everything that started this series was to stop the Glacia family from engulfing them, and it looks like that ended up happening anyway, as the Venettis are pretty much getting swept up in this gunfire. Now the Don is dead. Everybody under Nero is dead. Angelo gets away, but he's not scot-free, as in the end credit scene, we do see him in the alley. He's still kind of battered up from the torture that he took for Barbaro. He sees a vision of Cortero and he says, I did it. However, it was Strega that was really there, so he was hallucinating that it was Cortero, only for it to be Strega. So now you have to wonder, what is Strega going to do? Is he going to try to take him in under his wing and say, you know what, you did this job for us? Or is he going to turn him in to Nero for a bargaining chip, as we head into this finale in a big way? And I cannot wait for next week. And also next week is going to be sad, because this was a very masterfully done series and it's going to be over, and I think it deserved more hype than it gave. I mean, I know I was hyped for it every week, but it seemed to still be kind of under the radar with the anime community. So that was the episode in a nutshell. Hype, hype, hype. I cannot wait for the finale next week. Guys, let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments, and if you like this video, go ahead and drop it a like, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there is not a shortage of content for you guys to indulge on this channel, especially going into the fall season. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. And I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Infrar-Ed signing out. See you soon.